So there was a story of a young little boy from the city who knew nothing about the world. It was when I was taken out of my comfort zones in the state of knowing nothing in the world around me that made me so curious to know and to discover new things. Because that's when I realized that it was only in nothingness. Only in nothingness can we truly be curious of something. Of asking questions and being inquisitive of the world and your people, the friends and communities that you share your life with. And in this curiosity sparks exploration. The moment you dare to move and take away from the comforts of the world you're so familiar with. And from this exploration, then you discover. You discover new things. You learn about new things of the world and the environment that you're in. And it's a vicious cycle. It's a cycle that goes on. When you discover something new, you realize that you don't know anything about it. And then you become curious again. You start to question, you start to wonder. And then you explore, and then you discover. And it was in this discovery, from this nothingness that I had when I was a kid, that led me to my passions. We don't really find passions. You can't find something that you don't know what you're looking for. You discover passions. And that's how it led me to my first camera. It never in my wildest dreams would bring me to places that I could have only dreamt of. To remote islands and far-flung places on volcano islands in the Philippines and the world. Of holding this camera before me, a passion and a dream to bring me to places in the galaxies and stars under camping in the Milky Way, in deserts of Northern America, of meeting inspiring people, of indigenous cultures and communities, of stories of the past, of stories of our people, and stories of people from different countries with different sets of values, beliefs, ideas, and religions. A passion that led me to even the highest mountain ranges in our planet, the Himalayas, and glaciers above snow, journeying to a place called the center of the universe, where the Milky Way would perfectly align straight on the shark's fin summit of one of the tallest mountains in our world. A passion that led me to extreme globes of north and the south, flying above the glacial peaks, meeting these blue and daunting environments. But it was this passion of mine that made me dream. Dream of the stars. And it wasn't just this passion that led me places. But it was a passion to know of service, a passion that led to greater service. How photographs and stories of the world around me didn't just change my life, but how it can change the world. Showing the unjust realities that our changing planet is facing day in and day out, from the climate crisis, the plastic pollution, biodiversity loss, the destruction of the very mountains and forests from where I grew up. I wanted to give a voice to the voiceless and give a face to the faceless. From the animals that we share home, from these amazing charismatic creatures like the Philippine eagle, whose lives and species are now at the brink of extinction and demise, and stories, no matter how small, as even mere and tiny as a tarsier hanging on a tree. It made me realize the power of stories to connect, the purpose to serve humanity through nature, of connecting what was lost and what has been missing in our lives, to show beauty, to inspire, and to show fragility, to care. But most of all, it was the stories of real-life people, like indigenous communities and dreams of a paradise that in the Philippines and the world that we are all dreaming of, where birds still fly and where the rivers aren't dry. It's an unjust reality, the world we're currently facing. And it was these people, these indigenous communities and tribes that allowed us to open the world around them and share the stories of their own people who have been silenced upon these atrocities and injustices happening around the world. Stories of youth, of people like you sitting here, of us, who will be facing the brunt and consequences of the choices being made today, where we aren't even given a voice to speak out. these are the stories that matter. Because in reality, I realize that only a thin line separates the future that we want and the future that we deserve. Only a thin line separates the choices that we make today and the future and dreams that we have of our planet and our communities, our friends, our family, and ourselves. We all share same one future. One story of tomorrow. A story made up of cumulative moments of each of our lives intertwining together. Because honestly, who else would share their story if nobody knew? Who else would share your story but you? Because above all our failures and passions, our purposes and dreams, above all our grandest adventures throughout our planet and ourselves, we call life. At the end of the day, all we truly have are stories. And I ask you, what's yours? Thank you very much.